The blind hemmer creates an invisible or nearly invisible hem stitch by forming a chain stitch which catches only a few threads on the surface of the garment each time the needle is pulled through the fabric. This machine is ideal for straight hems, such as those found on trousers, shift dresses, or pencil skirts. The blind hemmer feeds the pre-folded hem of a garment through the machine, wrong side facing up, and stitches right along the top folded edge of the hem, catching the inside of the hem and the outer layer of the garment. This machine uses a single thread to create the stitch and is set up with filament thread to help with the invisible finished look of the hem. The threading of this machine is very straightforward, and you can always refer to the threading diagram posted by the machine. First, bring the thread up through the ring on the cone stand and down towards the machine. Feed through the stationary thread guide, then around and through the first set of tension plates in a clockwise direction, making sure the thread is flossed securely between these plates and behind the small guide bar in front of the plates. Travel through the second set of tension plates, this time in a counterclockwise direction, making sure the thread runs in front of the small guide bar to the right of the plates. Move through 2 more stationary thread guides, then down through the final thread guide attached to the needle carrier. Spin the flywheel until the eye of the needle is accessible. This needle is threaded from back to front, or left to right if you're looking straight on at the machine. Use tweezers or a threading tool and pull your thread tails over towards the right. The looper which catches the thread and creates the chain stitch or blind stitch does not carry its own thread. It simply loops the thread coming off the needle. On the right-hand side of the machine, you can adjust for either a no-skip stitch, which catches the material at each stitch, or a skip stitch, which catches the material at every other stitch. The stitch depth regulator dial can be adjusted for a deeper or shallower stitch, depending on the thickness of your material. Always test a sample to adjust the machine to the correct stitch depth. And as with the tension on a machine, the stitch depth adjustment is quite sensitive, so the smallest adjustment can go a long way. When you're ready to sew your hem, position the garment with the pressed hem facing wrong side up and raise the presser foot with the knee bar. This causes the feed plate to swing downward and creates space between the presser foot and the feed plate to slide in your work. Insert your work so that the folded edge of the material is alongside the edge guide of the presser foot. As you sew, keep an eye on this point more than the needle to ensure your hem stays correctly aligned. Lower the knee bar and we're ready to sew. As you begin stitching, notice how the needle catches the edge of the folded hem and the outer layer of the fabric all in one pass, and the looper completes the stitch. Again, watch the edge guide on the presser foot more than the needle as you sew. To finish off the hem stitch, clip the threads of the last loop closely to the looper. Then raise the knee bar and gently remove your work. Gently pull on the small thread tail to secure the last stitch. If you don't clip at this point, you risk the chain stitch coming unraveled. When you're finished at the machine, be sure to leave a long thread tail for the next student.